Hello everyone, I'm Paige Jr. and today I'm going to be telling you how to write a song. Oh yeah, before I do get started, I just want to do a disclaimer because I feel like it and I want to. But these videos are for entertainment and educational purposes, more like. So, but if you find it helpful, then that's great. And if you don't, well, I mean, at least it's interesting too. So yeah, and also another thing, I don't want to hear no bullshit. Like I don't want to hear nobody saying I'm not qualified because you ain't qualified either. So that's why you're on this video. So with all that out of the way, let's just get started. Okay, so the first step is to make a story. So I think the best songs, in my opinion, okay, don't get me fucked up. The best songs are the ones that have a story. Most songs that I like have stories to them. I think the best songs are when they have a story, when they have a purpose, they have a beginning, middle, and end, and they take you through it. So I would say if you want to like make a song, you have to have like an idea of what you're trying to say, you know, what story you're doing, like what's going on, you know. It's just kind of like a song is kind of like a movie. It's just instead of seeing it, you're hearing it, and you're just putting all of these pictures together with the lyrics that they use to tell that story. You know, that's how that's how you would make lyrics. It helps better when you want to make lyrics because you have a story. To make a story, you just think about what the character is doing. You know, just look. You can, for inspiration, you can just kind of look around everywhere in your room or anywhere in general to just gain some inspiration for like what you want the story to be and what you want the characters to do. You know, so for instance, if like for example, if somebody's just going through the worst day of their life, right? And you know, they didn't wake up too early, you know, they didn't wake up too early, they gotta wash all their clothes, and then not only to mention that they forgot their credit card at Walmart and someone stole all their money. You know, they went to a whole fucking island with their money. And then not to mention that, they also someone stole his car, broke into his window, and for safety, for good measure, kicked him in the balls too. He's just not having a good fucking day, right? That's a story. You can write anything about that. You can talk about how his life sucks, or you can talk about how it happened, you know? So basically what I'm just saying here is if you make a story, it helps better develop the song as a whole. Instead of not having a story, unless that's what you're trying to do, okay? Because people will get me fucked up with that shit. Unless that's what you're trying to do, then you don't need to follow that step. So, but yeah, so that's what you do. You make a story, and so the next step is to create a vibe. Now this step actually ties in with the first step. Once you have a story that you want to tell, what's really going to carry it through is the vibe of the whole story. Because when you've already created the story that you wanted to tell, the vibe, it kind of just writes itself. It really just depends on how you feel, but in my opinion, it just feels like it writes itself. So, but if you want to create a vibe, it's basically just asking yourself, what do you want the people who listen to this to feel? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them to feel sad? Do you want them to feel hopeful, angry, crazy? It's really dependent on you. Whatever you want them to feel. And you just drive that home with like the whole song with all the instruments and stuff, because the story and the vibe is really going to tell you what instruments you want to use, right? I mean, you know, there's that, and then some, like I said, but the story and the vibe is going to really tell you what instruments you can use or whatever. It's just literally going to end up writing itself in a way, at least for me. It could be different for you. So step 2 is really just to create a vibe so that people can understand what you're trying to get them to feel in whatever you're trying to do. So yeah, and now step 3 is actually getting down to making the music. Once you have created a story, thought of a vibe, and now you have to get into the song. But one quick step I want to say, if you didn't watch my previous video on this, you can, if you thought of all this stuff, right, you can like think of all this stuff that you created, and then you can have a problem like putting it together because you've already thought of it all, right? That's something you'll end up in a situation called void syndrome, where you just don't know what to do when you start. Don't do that. Don't go in trying to throw everything in the beginning. For me, when I make a song, I usually just start with a drum, because that's literally the first thing I hear. Like when I think of a song in my head, that's literally the beat. I always hear the beat first, and then I build on top of that. That's how I do it. So yeah, I'm just telling you how I do it, and if it helps you, then you use it. So yeah, so for me, I would just start with a drum, and then I would just put things on it. Sometimes, most of the time really, I just start with a drum, and if I hear a piano, I put a piano, and if I hear a guitar, it's obviously gonna have a guitar in it somewhere. So I just end up putting that in there, and I just start throwing things, in there until it becomes a whole song. Then all there is just mixing and mastering, and then all that. And then my favorite step. This is my favorite step. All right, the fourth step. My favorite one in this whole video, I mentioned, as I said it 3 times, is to fuck it up. Just fuck it up. Like, don't even try to make it perfect. It's not going to be. Fuck it up, okay? Do it the best possible way you can, but fuck it up. You're not going to be able, it's because the biggest illusion you ever could tell yourself is that it's going to be perfect on the first try. That's wrong. That's not going to be the case. You're going to fuck it up. So don't fuck yourself over. Do the best you can, right? But know that it can be better. Basically like that. Not like in a perfectionist way, but like in that kind of way, where you know it can be better. You're just doing the best you can with what you have, right? Okay. So those are my 4 steps. I hope you found this video educational, and I'll see you later.